Greetings and welcome to the Cedar Fever capital of the planet, maybe of the universe. This is Robert Phoenix broadcasting to you live from South Central Austin, Texas, where I am currently trying to take a jackhammer to my sinuses and clear things up in my head. I am assuming that this might be symbolic of a collective issue that we're all having, or seem to be having. We've got a bunch of shit in our heads that we're trying to get out of the head. The last 72 hours have been absolutely mind-blowing, starting with the Trump inauguration, which kind of went off without a hitch. There wasn't any major mayhem, or there wasn't any carnage. There wasn't any violence there at the inauguration. It was all very conservative, and it was draped in many forms of Christianity, kind of an interfaith deal with the rabbi and the various people from the various sects of the Abrahamic persuasion, including Franklin Graham, the son of Billy Graham, and the famous Mason. So this is what went down on Friday. I was doing a live stream. I was having some fun with it. And then, of course, they kicked into their gala celebration with a bunch of B-list and C-list artists, Three Doors Down, who are notably connected to the conservative movements. Toby Keith, who doesn't give a damn. And then, curiously enough, Lee Greenwood, whom I am not a huge fan of. And if any of you have read The Transformation of America, you would know that Lee Greenwood plays a role in that book with Kathy O'Brien. He is a handler. One of the famous Lee Greenwood scenes over the course of the last decade was that he played at a Sarah Palin benefit, Sarah Palin speech, and Sarah Palin and she's flashing the little devil horns, and Bristol Palin's there, and she's looking at Sarah Palin and, "Ooh, mommy, you're being very upfront with your symbolic association here." I mean, I'm not a Lee Greenwood guy. I think it was a mistake to bring Lee Greenwood into the fold. But then again, a lot of people aren't as granular as I am, and some of the listeners are, who understand who Lee Greenwood is. Lee Greenwood is about 1 or 2 degrees away from Pizzagate, okay? Let's just be clear about that. So there could have been a better choice, and I know he's got an iconic song. Big deal. Big deal. Other than that, it was pretty uneventful on the Trump side of things. However, on the protest side of things, things got a little heated in Washington, D.C. and across the country. And, of course, the mainstream media is supporting the quote-unquote protest efforts by the left and the progressives. We got somebody chiming in here on Facebook. What do we got? Let's see. Sometimes people will talk to me, and what do we have? I'm going to play you a clip. I'm going to play a clip, and it's from the LA Million Woman March arm of the protest, and it's actually an amazing kind of piece of video. Now, look, a lot of people are into this whole sort of polarization, and I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be a part of this. I'm not going to get involved. And I understand that. I've been on the outside of polarization for the last 40 years of my life, okay? I get it. So if we detach, we just sit back and we watch this whole thing go down, what's going to happen? I think you could probably say, hey, I'm just not a part of it. I'm not going to be disturbed. I'm not going to be bothered. I'm not going to be sucked in emotionally to what's taking place. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't have some kind of clarity and I don't want to use the word common sense, but clarity around this, what's going to happen is something that most people will completely and utterly regret. You'll regret it. You'll regret. I mean, look, we can get into Yates and the Second Coming. The worst of those, the worst are filled with passion, intensity, while the best I call conviction. I mean, there is some truth to that, but I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I don't think that you can have a position. It's like you can have a position, and you can be switched on and razor-like and laser-like, and you can be engaged without being fully blown and emotionally sucked in. Okay, it's possible. Trust me on this. Trust me. I've been cultivating this for the last 10 years of my life on this radio show for whoever listens to it, and I do my best to kind of, ride that razor's edge, because truth is truth. It is truth, and we cannot deny the truth, no matter how detached or how objective we want to be. And what's happened, I believe, unfortunately, I got a lot of people replying to this link on Facebook. What do we got here? What's the new one? Very well. Okay, I take my home. See, I mean, look, I'm going to play you this clip, and you're going to understand what I'm talking about here. I think that I'm going to get into a little bit of religious programming. I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was talking about what I like about Christianity and what I don't like about Christianity. What I love about Christianity is universalization, the values, love, compassion, forgiveness, connecting with Source, which is really what Sananda Emmanuel said again and again and again. We connect to Source. We don't have to go to the local chapter of the church, the 7-Eleven of the church. Thank you, Paul Saul. We don't have to do that. The sanctuary, heaven on earth is inside of us. It's in each and every one of us, and we are tested all the time to retain that sanctity and that sacred place inside of ourselves. And I haven't gone to church in years. It's been probably 40 years since I stepped into a church. And people go to church, fine, great. If you get something out, wonderful. It's not my thing, but I am into the aspects, the compassion. I am into the love and action. And I'm into the truth. And those are the best components of what I believe Christianity has to offer. The worst component, I have to say, and maybe this disqualifies me, is turning the other cheek. I don't think that's been a great strategy, and kind of a built-in strategy, so that you keep turning the other cheek and turning the other cheek and turning the other cheek, and next thing you know, the devil's running the planet. I mean, that's really what's happened, in my opinion. So how do we maintain compassion? How do we maintain unconditional love and not turn the other cheek? Well, you do, because you speak truth to power. You speak truth to power. That's how it works. You call the devils out as you see them, without judgment. Without judgment. Okay, so I want to play this clip because I don't have a lot of time on today's show. Remember, this is 15 minutes, but actually half an hour. I'm going to play maybe the first 10 minutes. I'm going to set the stage. This guy is at, I'm going to give you a physical representation of him so that you can't see him. He's African-American. He's huge. He looks a little like Jim Brown. He's a big guy. He's wearing a USA shirt. He's riding a bike. And he's at this anti-Trump rally. And I want you to listen to what takes place. And I'm going to play maybe the first 4 minutes of this so you can get a sense of it. Let me just scroll down here and find the file. I actually uploaded the file because I want people to start to listen to the stuff that I have. Quality recording. Here we go. His name is Big Joe. Let's rock and roll. This is from the march on Saturday.
All right, sir, my name is Jeffrey. What is your name?
They call me Big Joe.
Big Joe. Yeah. I can see why. Big Joe, what are you doing here today?
I'm just passing through. I have nothing to do with this whatever you want to call this. I don't even understand why they're having this. They had an inauguration yesterday, and now we have all this. What did Trump do for all of this to happen? He just came into office. What is this? I see signs of unity and love and peace, and yet at his inauguration they were burning a McDonald's, a Starbucks, limousines, and anarchy in the streets. This is what is this? When he was elected, rightfully, I mean, by the majority of the country, that, you know, so even though there are half the country like this that disapprove, what about the other half that do like him? What about them? What about their feelings? When Obama was president and he pushed his political agenda, political correctness, and he pushed all his agendas, did you see people doing all this? No, because we united behind our American president and we stuck it out and everything. So what?
Yeah, can you come in here? Come in here. Come in here. Come in here. Come in.
Trump was not.
What made him not? When was he not elected?
Oblivious. You're on a bicycle and you're oblivious. You're
electoral. What are you talking about? Wait a minute.
What do you think we're here for?
Trump.
We're here to make a change, and people like you are the reason there's still a problem.
Listen,
people
I'm
like
against
you.
political
people
correctness.
Like
no, people like you with
like
your
you.
political correctness agenda.
History.
Political correctness. You know what? Political correctness is un-American. Why you think? You know why Trump couldn't get anyone to his inauguration? Because of the McCarthyism Hollywood that was going to stigmatize somebody for supporting Trump. This is the United States of America. You could support Trump and still be without ostracizing. You want to ostracize someone and then you're going to turn around and make life difficult for them? That's political correctness is a disease.
I feel sorry for you.
Oh, yeah? I feel sorry for you because Planned Parenthood is a racist system. Margaret Sanger was a Planned Parenthood. You know what? Margaret Sanger thought very low of black people. She thought they were ignorant and they shouldn't exist and reproduce. And you know what Planned Parenthood is about? Planned Parenthood is to sterilize black people.
You cannot put down one.
You should be against Planned Parenthood. We shouldn't be funding any type of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is a joke. And anyone that doesn't know their history, know your history about Margaret Sanger, the beginning of Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood is the most racist organization. Know your history before you start supporting some. Okay?
You see that. You try.
What? That's why I'm not a woman. I'm a man. A straight man. I'm a man. A straight man. You know your history about Planned Parenthood. Do you know about Planned Parenthood?
Tell me about Planned Parenthood.
Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger, the whole reason for Planned Parenthood was to sterilize black people so they wouldn't reproduce.
There's people it's helping. There are people it's helping.
It changed with the rest of the
Yeah,
world.
okay, so Trump is not a racist. Trump is not all this here.
Trump,
He's not a racist.
There's two words. I'm sorry.
Sorry? Sorry to who? What? People that don't support him?
In the world that he's
people that don't support him? I'm not offended by Trump. And half the country is not offended by Trump. So what about them? What about them? What about the rest of the country that's not offended by Trump? What about them? Huh? Well, everybody's afraid of you guys because if they stand up for Trump, they're deemed a racist and everything, and everybody's terrified. And you got them doing it because of political correctness and all this craziness. This is wrong. This is the United States of America. You say he's not your president, then you shouldn't be here. Leave. Many of those elitist Hollywood people that said they were going to leave, they didn't leave. They're protesting now. You don't like him, you don't want to be here, then leave. This is a free country. What you're doing now, you're going to bring anarchy, and then you know what's going to happen? Martial law. And these freedoms that you're talking about now, you're going to lose them. And then you're going to understand what a real situation. You have people in this group who are socialists, who are anti-American and anti-our freedom, and they're latching on your different causes, and they're playing on your emotions so that they can get you all riled up, so that you can turn around and continue to do what you're doing and divide the country, and then bring about chaos and anarchy so that they can bring martial law. That's what's really going on. Open your eyes and use your head. That's what's happening. I know for a fact. I've seen these socialists in your group. I've seen them at rallies. They even make signs for you people. And you don't understand what's going on. You have to open your heart. You better be smart. You might have some good causes and everything, but you need to choose your battles. Trump didn't do anything yet. Choose your battles correctly. Use your head. Huh? Education, what's the problem? What is Trump doing about education? He just got into office. Huh? Education, not for nothing. I'm going to tell you something right now. Everybody is the controlled media. Education has taught you guys that you're following the controlled media, that whoever they demonize, you just automatically follow. If that's what education does for you, then we need to change it. Because you shouldn't be like that. You should be free thinkers, and you should be able to see right from wrong. You don't, because you're following whoever someone gets on TV and says, this is so, and then you just follow it. That's not using your head. That's not being smart. People, wake up. Be smart. Okay? You want to be logical. You want to be smart. Be smart. But don't follow all this nonsense just because. Just because you want to be. There's so many people that supported Trump, but they were afraid to openly support him. But you know when they supported him? In the voting booth. And that's what all of you people didn't understand. A lot of people supported Trump, but they were afraid. They're even your friends, but they were afraid to tell you they supported him. And you know what? When they went to the voting booth, they voted for him. And that's where that's where all of you people right now, all of you people are now shocked. Because you couldn't believe that he could be elected. Because nobody thought he would have been elected. But guess what? He is elected. And he is our president. And you need to unite behind him now. Because you know what? If you continue to do what you're doing, you are going to divide this country. You are going to bring about martial law. You're going to lose your rights. You're going to lose your freedom. And then your biggest fear, he will be a dictator then. You better be smart, people. You don't understand what's about ready to happen. Wake up and be smart.
Somebody took the red pill that morning. This guy, Big Joe, man, he totally nails the whole thing. And it's amazing to watch the video because you can see that the crowd is kind of boisterous. You know, the crowd is like a wild animal. It's like a wild animal that is a pack of wild animals that is ready to move on fear, that is ready to move on any kind of emotion that they sense is an opening and a vulnerability. And this guy was great because he stated his case. I mean, he knew about Planned Parenthood. He knew about Margaret Sanger. He knew about eugenics. And he knew that if this continues to go down this path, and people are, and this is the important part to understand, okay, that you may want to stay out of the fray. You may say, hey, I'm going to go into Gemini mode, and I'm going to detach, or I'm going to do whatever kind of nomenclature you want to use. And maybe a cooler head could prevail, and you can hold the space for a while. Great, do it. But I'm telling you that if this continues to happen, and people are continue to get sucked into this vortex, and especially on the left, what's going to happen is there's going to be a crackdown and there will be martial law at some point. They'll happen. And then the self-fulfilling prophecy that these people are churning over and over and over again will come true. And all of their worst fears will become manifest. Now, let's set the record straight. Trump just killed the TPP today. Let me repeat that. He just killed the TPP today. That, in and of itself, is an incredible accomplishment. And if you are on the left, if you're on the side of the worker, if you're on the side of the common man and woman, you're going to applaud this move because it took us out of a draconian trade deal where we give up all kinds of patents and all kinds of industry rights, the ability to have tariffs, it all goes away, and then we are one step further away from globalization and the New World Order, because that was the next plank, right? It was GATT, NAFTA, and the TPP, the global link. Of course, China's out of the link because they set their own rules. Now, some people say that China will move in and become the big dog in the trade pact. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens. Bottom line is that the TPP was stopped. And if you're on the left, and this is something that Michael Moore theoretically should be dancing around, but he won't because he is too intoxicated by his agenda, too intoxicated by his conditioning. You know, again, I've said this before. When Barack Obama was president, became president, I thought to myself, yeah, maybe this guy can turn a corner. Maybe this guy can go rogue and, you know, get into the fact that he's a constitutional lawyer. And maybe this is the guy that can really do some magic, although I was really out on a limb with that. But I held out for a while. Didn't happen. And the divisiveness took place very, very quickly. And the last 8 years have been awful. So what we have now is we have a new faction. It's called Pink Lives Matter. We have Black Lives Matter, Pink Lives Matter now. So we have more of a fractious reality. You know, it's more divided, more divisive. Oh, man. By the way, did you see what happened with this Katie Rich from SNL? She's a writer on SNL, and she tweeted, Barron Trump will be the first homeschool shooter. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with these people? I mean, that's the equivalent of, say, somebody who's a writer on the right or the middle saying Malia Obama will be the first crack whore that was raised in the White House. I mean, come on. What would happen if somebody said that? That person would never work again. Period. End of story. Well, what's going to happen to Katie Rich? She'll probably get a raise. One of the things that we can do now that I think is important. This is where, look, you don't have to like go after people. You don't have to be big. By the way, that comment about the bicycle, that is the most inane comment. You're riding a bicycle and you're oblivious. That is so demeaning because she's making a value-based judgment that he is a loser because he's riding a bicycle. That is, I mean, she's like bicycle shaming him. That's ridiculous. What if he had matching dreadlocks because she had dreads? What if he had matching dreadlocks and he was on her side of the fence? You know what she'd say about that bicycle? That's a great bike. I'm so glad you biked down here. We took public transport, you know, low footprint. We want the low footprint. Awesome. That's awesome that you rode your bike. You're in good shape, you know, good on you. I mean, that would be her response if the guy riding the bike was on her side, but he's not. So he's a loser riding the bike. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the thing that he does, which is amazing, is he shuts the crowd down. I mean, by the end of that 7 minutes of video, which is going to go viral, it's going to go viral. That guy's going to wind up on Fox News. They're going to interview. Watch me. Watch this. Trust me on this. You'll see him on Fox News. And not that Fox News is any great portal of, you know, decency and humanity and freedom and rights. I mean, they're a commercial operation. They want eyeballs, and they're appealing to a certain group. So, hey, it makes sense. But he shut them down. When you speak truth to power, and there was nothing he said that was not legitimate and truthful, and he did not attack anyone. He didn't demean them. He told them to wake up, to use their heads. Brilliant. 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 We are living in a country that is deeply divided. I was texting the GF today, and we're talking, and I said, this is Warzone. And she sent me a video of Stefan Molyneux, and he said the same thing. And I've never seen a Molyneux as kind of arch and funny and droll and witty and smart. I've never seen him get that amped up before. He was totally amped up. Because we're in a place right now that's incredibly dangerous. I firmly believe that. And the danger is the widening rift and gulf between people and ideologies. Last night on the live stream, I talked about the astrological perspective of Jupiter and Libra and having to reintegrate the relationship between the sexes, not gender, the sexes, and how we have to come back and begin to remend the relationship between the two. This is vital. This is the most core relationship we have on the planet. And if we can do that, then we have a better chance of beginning to knit and weave some kind of biological solidarity. This transcends race. This transcends creed. It's a really basic fundamental relationship between men and women. And coming back to places inside of ourselves that we've left behind or ejected because some movement, some ideology, some person whom we thought we could trust and believe in and had better ideas than us, we gave away our power under those circumstances and conditions. That's the big deal. That is the biggest piece out of all of this. It's re-examining what we've given up and left behind and picking it up. Jupiter's coming up. It's going to be retrograde, and we can begin to manage that. So yes, these are also incredible times to live in as well, because the truth is breaking like a thundercloud. People are waking up. It is a process. It is happening. It is happening. Now, I'm watching this and witnessing this, and at some point, the people on the right, the conservative side, the silent majority, they're going to snap. And they're going to snap back, and it's not going to be pretty. I'm telling you right now, at some point, they are going to be tired of being bullied. And what's really interesting is that the group that's bullying them is a group that is anti-bullying. You ask them to a person, they are not into bullying. They think bullying is a social stigmata. It is the source of evil. It is the outgrowth of ignorance and hate. And yet, that is exactly what they're doing. I'll never forget, one time I was in Berkeley, and there was this dude from the Southern Poverty Law Center, and he was signing people up to donate money on the anti-bullying platform. And I just walked up and I said, you know, what we really need? We need kids that know how to defend themselves. That's what we need. We need kids that can defend themselves. So if a bully stands up to them, you know, they can do whatever they need to do in order to neutralize the bully. We have stronger kids that can actually take care of themselves. The bullying goes away. Bullying is it's like a psychic immunizer. It's what it is. It's like building up an immunity to tyranny. And unless you can confront it at a certain point in time in your life, it will steamroll you for the rest of your existence. This is Robert Phoenix, listening or sharing with you 15 Minutes of Flame. I'll be back tomorrow with another look at what's happening in my world and yours.
There is more to me, Queen Eliara of Elfgard, than my elven magic. Just as there's more to Geico than saving you money, Geico also gives you 24/7 access to licensed agents online, on the phone, or on the Geico app. And while I am a mighty elf queen, I am also a mighty big fan of barbecue potato chips. Minions! More smoky mesquite.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.